30 days ago, Iran captured an MQ-9 Reaper intact, not shot down, not destroyed on impact, captured, forced to land through GPS spoofing in a remote area of eastern Syria during a surveillance mission, recovered by IRGC ground units within 40 minutes of touchdown, and transported to a facility outside Isfahan before American Special Operations Forces could reach the site. The United States confirmed the loss 11 days later, after satellite imagery showed what appeared to be MQ-9 components at a known Iranian aerospace research compound. The Pentagon statement described the incident as the loss of an unmanned aerial system due to a navigation systems anomaly, and stated that sensitive components are designed to be inoperable if the aircraft falls into unauthorized hands. That statement was wrong on both counts. At 6 a.m. on March 27, 2026, Iranian state television broadcast footage of what it called the Psyche-2, a drone that is, by every external dimension and flight characteristic visible in the footage, a functional reproduction of the MQ-9 Reaper. Same 20-meter wingspan, same twin-boom tail configuration, same turboprop engine signature, same sensor turret mounting position under the forward fuselage. 30 days from capture to broadcast. And the broadcast was not the end of the story, because Iran did not build the Psyche-2 to fly it themselves. Iran built it to give it away. By the time the broadcast aired, Hezbollah's air unit in southern Lebanon had received delivery of 6 Psyche-2 airframes. Houthi forces in Yemen had received 4. Kataib Hezbollah in Iraq had received 3. Popular Mobilization Forces units near the Syrian border had received 2. 15 aircraft, distributed across 4 countries, operational within 72 hours of delivery. The $30 million drone that the United States has used for 2 decades to dominate the battlespace above adversaries who had no equivalent capability, that drone just became the standard equipment of every Iranian proxy from the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. To understand why this is not just an intelligence failure story, to understand why this event changes the operational balance across an entire region, you need to understand what the MQ-9 Reaper actually does and why no adversary has been able to replicate it until now. The MQ-9 Reaper entered service with the United States Air Force in 2007. It has a maximum range of 150 nautical miles, an endurance of 27 hours, a service ceiling of 50,000 feet, and a payload capacity of 1,700 kilograms. It carries the AN-1 multispectral targeting system, an electro-optical and infrared sensor package that can identify a human face at 10 kilometers altitude in daylight and track a moving vehicle in complete darkness. It can carry Hellfire missiles, GBU-12 laser-guided bombs, and GBU-38 joint direct attack munitions. It is, in short, a persistent surveillance and precision strike platform that can loiter over a target area for 24 hours, identify and track high-value targets with certainty, and deliver precision munitions on command from an operator who may be sitting in a trailer in Nevada. For 19 years, that capability belonged exclusively to the United States and a small number of close allies who purchased it under strict export controls. The technology gap between American ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, capability, and what adversaries could field against it was the foundation of American tactical superiority in every conflict since Afghanistan. Iran just closed that gap in 30 days, with 1 captured aircraft and an aerospace reverse engineering capability that Western analysts have systematically underestimated for a decade. Let me walk you through how they did it. Because the speed is what matters. 30 days is not an accident. It is the result of 20 years of preparation for exactly this opportunity. Iran's aerospace reverse engineering program dates to 2011, when the CIA lost an RQ-170 Sentinel stealth drone over Iranian territory. That aircraft was recovered largely intact. Iran spent 4 years publicly claiming to have reverse engineered it and produced the Shahed 171 Seamorg as a result. Western analysts largely dismissed those claims. They were wrong to dismiss them. What Iran was actually doing with the RQ-170 was not producing a flying copy. It was building the institutional knowledge, the manufacturing processes, and the component sourcing networks required to reverse engineer a complex American aerospace system rapidly when the next opportunity arrived. The RQ-170 was the practice run. The MQ-9 is the execution. Iran's aerospace research organization SAFIA, The Iran Aviation Industries Organization has approximately 12,000 engineers and technicians. Within that organization, a dedicated reverse engineering unit has been working on American drone systems since 2011. When the Sayakay, the original, smaller Iranian copy of American drone designs, was introduced, it was not a finished product. It was a skills development program. When the MQ-9 arrived at the Isfahan facility, a team of approximately 300 engineers had 30 days and a complete aircraft to work with. They did not need to figure out the aerodynamics. Those are determined by the airframe geometry, which is directly measurable. They did not need to figure out the sensor integration architecture. The wiring harnesses and interface standards are physically present in the aircraft. They did not need to reverse engineer the engine. The Honeywell TPE331 turboprop is a commercially available engine that Iran has been acquiring through third-country intermediaries for years. What they needed to replicate was the flight control software, the sensor processing algorithms, and the communication link architecture. Those are the hard problems, and those are the problems where 30 days is not enough time to fully solve. Which means the Psyche 2 is not a perfect copy of the MQ-9. It is a functional copy, and functional is enough. If you are understanding why functional but imperfect is still a revolution in regional military capability, subscribe right now. Because what I am about to explain is what 15 Psyche 2 aircraft distributed across 4 countries actually means for every American and Israeli operation in the region. Let me give you the operational numbers. The MQ-9 Reaper costs approximately $32 million per aircraft. The United States operates approximately 300 of them across all services. They are the backbone of American persistent surveillance operations across the Middle East. At any given moment, multiple Reapers are airborne over Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and the waters of the Persian Gulf, providing continuous surveillance coverage that supports every other military operation. The Sayakay 2, based on Iranian manufacturing cost structures and the components used, is estimated to cost approximately $3 to $4 million per unit to produce. Iran can manufacture approximately 20 to 30 per month at current assessed production capacity, scaling to 50 to 80 per month within 6 months if priority resources are allocated. Cost to replicate American ISR capability, $3 to $4 million per aircraft. Cost of the original, $32 million. Production cost ratio, 1 to 8 in Iran's favor. But the cost ratio understates the strategic shift. Because the MQ-9's value is not just in what it costs, it is in what it sees and what it enables. Here is what 15 Sayakay 2 aircraft in the hands of Iranian proxies means operationally. Broken down by actor. Hezbollah in Lebanon now has a persistent surveillance capability over northern Israel that it has never had before. 6 Sayakay 2 aircraft, operating in rotation, can maintain continuous ISR coverage over Israeli Air Force bases, armor concentrations, and logistics nodes in the Galilee and Jezreel Valley. Every Israeli military movement in northern Israel can now be tracked in near real time by a non-state actor that has never previously had that capability. That changes the calculus for every Israeli ground operation in the north. If Hezbollah can watch Israeli armor staging areas continuously, it can position anti-tank missile teams before the armor moves. If it can track Israeli logistics convoys, it can target them before they reach forward positions. ISR capability? The ability to see before you are seen is the multiplier that makes every other weapon more effective. Hezbollah just acquired that multiplier. The Houthis in Yemen now have persistent surveillance over Red Sea shipping lanes. 4 Sayakay 2 aircraft can maintain continuous coverage over the southern Red Sea, the waters where USS Mason was operating when it was sunk. The multi-axis saturation attack that killed 63 American sailors relied on pre-positioned fast attack craft that had to be in place hours before the attack. With Sayakay 2 ISR, Houthi planners can track American warship positions in real time and time their attacks to the moment of maximum vulnerability. The attack on USS Mason killed 63 sailors without persistent ISR. With persistent ISR, the Houthis can select their targets, their timing, and their approach vectors with the same quality of information that American naval commanders use to plan their own operations. The cost-exchange ratio of the Red Sea campaign just got worse. Significantly worse. Now let me tell you what the official American response is, and where the gap between the statement and the operational reality is widest. The Pentagon issued a statement acknowledging the MQ-9 loss and the appearance of Iranian drone systems described as similar in configuration to American designs. The statement emphasized that critical mission systems incorporate multiple layers of security features designed to prevent exploitation, and that the drone community was assessing the extent to which any sensitive technology may have been compromised. Here is what that statement does not say. The security features designed to prevent exploitation are software-based. Encryption, self-destruct protocols, secure data deletion. They protect the data stored on the aircraft. They do not protect the aerodynamics. They do not protect the sensor mounting architecture. They do not protect the structural engineering of the airframe, the fuel system design, the landing gear geometry, or any of the hundreds of physical design decisions that make the MQ-9 what it is. You cannot encrypt aluminum. You cannot delete a carbon fiber layup. You cannot password protect a turboprop engine mount. The physical aircraft is its own technical documentation, and Iran had 30 days with a complete physical aircraft. The claim that sensitive technology is protected assumes that what Iran wanted was the software. What Iran wanted was the shape, the layout, the integration architecture, the manufacturing approach. The things that take American aerospace companies decades to develop and that are directly readable from the object itself. They got all of it. Here are the three options Washington is now considering. None of them are adequate. Option 1. Accelerate development and deployment of counter-drone systems capable of defeating Psyche-2 in the hands of non-state actors. Deploy electronic warfare assets, directed energy weapons, and kinetic interceptors capable of engaging medium-altitude long-endurance drones across the region. The problem: the Psyche-2 operates at altitudes and with flight profiles that existing point defense systems were not optimized to engage. The Phalanx close-in weapon system is designed for fast, low-altitude threats, cruise missiles, anti-ship missiles. The Iron Dome is designed for ballistic rockets and short-range missiles. Neither was designed to engage a slow-moving, high-altitude drone with a 20-meter wingspan. Developing and deploying counter-MALE, medium-altitude long-endurance, drone capabilities across multiple countries requires 12 to 18 months minimum. During those 12 to 18 months, 15 Psyche-2 aircraft are operational, and Iran is manufacturing more at 20 to 30 per month. Option 2. Strike Iranian Psyche-2 production facilities before production scales. Destroy the Isfahan compound where the reverse engineering occurred. Eliminate the manufacturing lines before they reach full capacity. The problem: Iran anticipated this response. Production has already been dispersed across multiple facilities. The Isfahan compound was the development site. Manufacturing is occurring at a minimum of 3 additional locations that have not yet been positively identified. Striking Isfahan destroys the original development facility and does not stop production. And striking Iranian territory escalates a conflict that is already consuming American military resources across 3 simultaneous theaters. Option 3. Export control review and supply chain interdiction. Identify and cut off the third country suppliers providing components Iran used to reproduce the MQ-9. The problem: the components Iran needed to reproduce the Psyche-2 are largely commercial. The turboprop engine is commercially available. The avionics are based on commercially available platforms. The structural materials, aluminum alloy, carbon fiber composites, are globally traded commodities. The specific suppliers who provided these components to Iran through intermediaries are distributed across 12 countries and have not been identified. Supply chain interdiction for a weapon that uses commercial components in a global market is not a strategy. It is an acknowledgement that the proliferation has already occurred. Here is what you need to understand as we close. In 2007, the MQ-9 Reaper gave the United States a surveillance and strike capability that no adversary could match. For 19 years, that gap was a cornerstone of American tactical superiority in every operational environment where Reapers flew. That gap closed on March 27, 2026. 15 aircraft, 4 countries. $3 to $4 million each, produced from a $32 million original. Manufacturing scaling to 50 to 80 per month within 6 months. And an institutional reverse engineering capability that will not stop with the MQ-9. Because the same team that reproduced the Reaper in 30 days is already working on the next American system that lands within reach. Hezbollah is watching the Galilee with American eyes. The Houthis are watching the Red Sea with American sensors. Every proxy in Iran's network just received the ability to see before they are seen, the single most important tactical advantage in modern warfare. And the original aircraft that made it all possible cost $32 million and landed intact because a GPS spoofing system that costs $50,000 told it to go somewhere it was not supposed to go. Cost of the GPS spoofer, $50,000. Cost of the drone it captured, $32 million. Cost of the technology transfer to 4 proxy networks, incalculable. Timeline from capture to operational deployment, 30 days. Share this video, because the coverage will show you Iranian state television footage and Pentagon statements about security features and export control reviews. It will not explain that you cannot encrypt aluminum. It will not tell you that Hezbollah now has persistent ISR over northern Israel. It will not do the math on 50 to 80 SK-2 aircraft per month at $3 to $4 million, each flowing to proxies across the region. They will give you the version where security features protected the sensitive technology. I just gave you the version where the sensitive technology was the shape of the aircraft, and shapes cannot be classified. 1 drone, 30 days, 15 copies across 4 countries. And a $50,000 GPS spoofer that just transferred 19 years of American aerospace development to Iran's entire proxy network. The Reaper built American dominance of the skies above the Middle East for 2 decades. Iran just gave that dominance away to everyone.